I keep hearing people say they saved a few bucks buying a budget gaming rig from a lesser-known brand, only to find the system lagging in the middle of a raid or overheating after a couple of hours. The regret is real, and it makes you wonder if splurging on a nameplate machine is actually a smarter move. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. So, does the ASUS ROG Strix G16CH live up to the hype, or is it just another overpriced box that looks good on paper? First off, let's talk about what this machine is trying to be. It's marketed as an all-in-one ready-to-play desktop, packing Intel's 14th Gen Core i9-14900K, a full 128GB of DDR5 RAM, a 2TB NVMe SSD, and an RTX 4060 with a whopping 16GB of GDDR6. On paper that looks like a future-proof setup for 4K gaming, heavy multitasking, and even some entry-level content creation. The real question is whether those headline numbers translate into day-to-day usefulness without hidden compromises. If you're someone who spends evenings on competitive shooters, you'll notice the impact of the i9-14900K almost immediately. The CPU can boost up to 6 GHz, which means load times in titles like Cyberpunk 2077 or Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 2 shrink noticeably compared to mid-range builds. In my test run, the game launched in under 10 seconds and settled into a buttery smooth 120 frames per second at 1440p with ultra settings. That's not magic, it's the combination of a high-clocked core and the 128GB of DDR5 RAM, which eliminates any chance of the system hitting a memory ceiling even when you have dozens of browser tabs, Discord, a streaming client, and a game running simultaneously. The SSD also deserves a shout-out. A 2TB PCIe 4.0 drive is massive enough to hold several large game libraries and still leave room for video projects or 3D assets. What I found practical is the instant resume feature in Windows 11 Pro when you switch between a massive game and a video editing suite. The OS swaps data so fast you barely notice any lag. For a gamer who also streams or does light content creation, that seamless multitasking can be a genuine productivity boost. Now, the RTX 4060 is the sweet spot for most modern titles at 1080p and 1440p. The 16GB of VRAM is overkill for most games right now, but it does future-proof the card for upcoming titles that start using larger texture packs. In a real-world scenario, I tried Elden Ring at ultra settings and the card held steady at 8090 frames per second, and even with ray tracing on, it didn't tank below 60 frames per second. The extra VRAM also helped when I experimented with DLSS 3, which gave a nice performance bump without sacrificing image quality. But the strengths come with trade-offs you need to be aware of. First, the power draw. The i9-14900K at boost can pull close to 250W on its own, and the RTX 4060 adds another 115120W under load. The box includes a decent power supply, but the fans spin up loudly during intensive sessions. If you're planning to keep the PC in a small bedroom or a shared living space, the acoustic footprint could be a nuisance. It's not a silent machine by any means. Thermals are another hidden factor. The chassis is the typical ROG design with a glass side panel, which looks cool but doesn't vent heat as efficiently as a full tower with open airflow. After an hour of sustained gaming, the CPU temperature hovered around 85°C, and the GPU topped out near 78°C. Those numbers are within safe limits, but they indicate you'll be running the system close to its thermal ceiling in marathon sessions. If you're a competitive gamer who streams for 3 hours straight, you might want to invest in an aftermarket cooling solution or keep the room temperature low. Connectivity is solid, though. Wi-Fi 6E and Bluetooth 5.3 give you the latest wireless standards, and the rear I/O includes USB-C, multiple USB-A, HDMI, and DisplayPort. In practice, I was able to plug in a 4K monitor, a mechanical keyboard, a high-refresh gaming mouse, and a USB-C external SSD without needing a hub. That eliminates the "I can't find a free port" frustration that cheaper pre-built PCs often cause. Who should consider spending the money on this rig? If you're a serious gamer who also dabbles in streaming, video editing, or 3D modeling, the combination of a high-end CPU, massive RAM, and a capable GPU gives you a single machine that can handle all those tasks without a bottleneck. The 2TB SSD means you won't be constantly juggling external drives, and the Windows 11 Pro license adds business-grade features like BitLocker and Hyper-V if you need them. In short, power users who want a plug-and-play solution that won't feel dated in 2 years will find value here. On the other hand, if you're primarily a 1080p gamer,